Hi, beautiful people. Welcome back. If you're new, my name is Georgia. Welcome, welcome. So today we're going to do a review of an interview that Carlos did with two of the husbands from Married to Medicine. I noticed I said in my last video that I was going to do a review of the interview that he did with Mariah Hawk from the same show, Married to Medicine, from the earlier days, of course. But she has a lot of interesting things going on that we need to talk about. But I haven't had a chance to make the video, but I will. But I was just scrolling through YouTube the other day and I saw that he dropped a video with an interview that he did with Dr. Eugene and with Cecil. So Dr. Eugene is the husband of Toya, and you all know Cecil's wife. So, first thing he does when they sit down, somehow he starts off right away. He tells them he appreciates the fact that they come to sit down with him. And this is never done before where you've sat down with the husbands from the show, because as you guys know, it's the wives that are, the castmates. And if the husbands choose to film, then they can film. The husbands don't get paid. But if the ladies told us that, it's their choice if they want to give the husband some of their money. And most of the time, the husbands don't want it because they don't need it. So one of the first questions he asks is, how did you meet your spouse? So long story short, we have Dr. Eugene met Toya he met her in Detroit. I believe he was working at a hospital and he had gone out with one of the nurses as a friend. I think it was an event that they were all at, and he saw Toya and he liked her, but I think she was dating somebody at the time. And a few weeks later, he asked a friend, what's up with Toya? He's interested. So that's how they met, and we are where we are today with two boys, and a wonderful life. Then he asked Cecil how he met Dr. Simone. Long story short, they met in college. He said there was an evening where the girls were just walking, people just chilling. Spelman Morehouse, and one of the guys, stayed clean to Dr. Simone. And then I guess she was interested in him because she told him that she needed help fixing something. And then when he went to go help her with it, he kind of pursued, asked her, what's going on with you and so. And she's like, well, nothing's happening. So he went back and asked the friend, what's going on with you and Simone? And the friend was like, she's just a friend. So from there, they, got into a relationship. They got married. Now we have two boys later and a wonderful life, as they say. So with that, Carlos went in to ask Cecil, what happened with you and Dr. Simone, where you were on the verge of getting a divorce. And he explains to her about a mutual friend named Tammy. I think he said they worked together. He worked for Coca-Cola, executive of Coca-Cola. And Tammy was a friend at work. And she became a good friend to the family, where, there were times they would take family vacation. I believe she got divorced at some point during the friendship with them. And they said she even took a solo trip with Dr. Simone to London. So when Dr. Simone came and told him that he felt like Tammy was just too much into their lives, he felt that, it was like, where's this coming from? I thought she was a good family friend. But then his wife doubled down and was like, she is too close to us as a couple. So because of that, he backed off with being her friend. He said to the point where, there is a golf club that they're part of. He said he introduced Tammy to his golf buddies, and she became part of the golf club. And to this point where they kept her, because she plays golf so well, they kept her as part of the club, and he's not invited to events anymore. And Dr. Eugene told him that, I'm going to learn to play golf so that we could play together. So Carlos asked him, do you miss your friendship with her? And he's like, yes, I do miss her as a friend. Carlos asked her, what's going on with her over the years? He's like, I really don't know, because we haven't spoken in at least 5 to 7 years. He's like, I'm respecting my marriage. This friendship almost cost me my marriage. I love my wife. And we almost were on the brink of divorce. It was to the point where if it wasn't for the group, the other married couples, and them going on vacation and having discussions at the tables and the dinners that they do, they might have actually gotten a divorce, because neither one of them were communicating. And it got to that point where they might have been divorced. So then Carlos turns and asks, no, he didn't ask him, but Eugene jumped in and said that, he also appreciates the group because if it wasn't for Cecil and Dr. Simone, he and Toya may have gotten divorced also. He said there was a time when they brought the couples over to the house and, took them into the basement and like, look, you two, we see what's going on, we see where you're heading, and we don't want you to go, so we're going to intervene. And with that, then they talked about it, worked it out. I'm guessing counseling was involved and stuff. But both men credit the fact that they have a group of friends who are married, and they know that marriage is hard and you got to work at it every day. And with that, they were able to save their marriages. So I think the question came up about the authenticity of some of these couples, because Eugene is saying that, not everybody is showing their authentic self in the show. So Carlos was like, who's not being authentic? So they did their process of elimination, and they narrowed it down to Jackie and her husband, because it could also be Dr. Heavenly and Dr. Damon, because one of the things that Eugene pointed out was that, look at the show and look at all the episodes and look to see whose homes or, you see being filmed where, what's going on in the home, as far as whose house were we invited to come and do a scene. Just watch the show and then you will see who's not being authentic. So he didn't even go and actually say the names of who he thought, but he kind of planted the seed for us to go and figure it out. And of course, as content creators and little detectives that we are, some of us will go out there and figure it out. I'm not going to be the one. Let somebody else go ahead and do it. But I'm sure we'll hear about it soon enough. So then the question was, he asked Dr. Eugene, how do you feel about Dr. Heavenly calling you sassy? And Eugene was like, I don't care. She could do whatever she want. I know I'm not, I'm not sassy, so she could do whatever she want. Another question he asked was, do you think the men should get paid? And they both said that, they don't feel it's necessary because the show is really for their wives. He's like, Dr. Eugene was saying, I'm not strapped for money. Carlos was saying, but on the show it's portrayed that you guys are, because you've been renting. Why don't you own a home? And he pointed out to him that they did own their first home, and that the second home that they built from the ground up, it just wasn't working out for them. So until they could find another house to purchase, they're going to be renting until they feel comfortable. They're not going to let anybody pressure them into purchasing a home. One of the things that he said, Dr. Eugene, was that in his neighborhood, that every house was broken in that neighborhood, and his wife said to him, I'm not staying here no more. It's either you come with me and we're gonna find somewhere else, or the boys and I are leaving. So that's one of the reasons why they left one of the neighborhoods that they were. There was a lot of burglaries in the neighborhood. Another question that Carlos asked of the men, he said, if you should see one of the men in the group out and about, without their wife or with another woman, would you go ahead and would you tell? So Eugene said that he wouldn't tell per se. He would just say, for instance, go check on your friend, Dr. Jackie. I saw something that might not be anything, but just check to make sure she's okay. And Cecil said he would not tell. He would mind his business and he wouldn't say anything, because as you know, the messenger always gets in trouble, where he's like, if I should say something and they work it out, now I'm looked at as the bad guy. So I'm not going to say nothing. I'm there with Cecil. I'm saying nothing. I didn't see nothing. I'll just look at them and like, okay, and keep it moving. The messenger is always the one who gets in trouble. Okay. So now they're getting into their opinion of the ladies on the show. So Carlos just throws it out there. He was like, so what do you guys think about Quad? And Dr. Eugene was like, ask Cecil, that's his friend. So he's like, no, I want to hear what you think about Quad. Dr. Eugene tells him that, he and Toya has given Quad multiple chances to fix certain things that she's on social media saying to the other ladies. and they would, she would come, she would apologize, she would get a hug, and then she'll go right back and do the same thing again and again and again. So at this point, he's just taking her as she is. Dr. Cecil, not Dr. Cecil, Cecil says that, Quad is a great person. He likes her, and that she just need more chances. And he already told her that, you got to do better and you got to come better. But he's like, I don't have no problems with Quad. She's a friend, and she's going to be a friend of mine for a while. Thoughts about Mariah and how things went down. Dr. Eugene said he don't like the narrative that's out there that the castmate has something to do with Mariah not coming back after I think it was season 5, I believe. He was like, there was a lot going on with production. There were times when they would be filming and Mariah would say something directly to production while they're filming, and production would have to actually edit it out. So he said there was a lot of tension behind the scenes, and we did see in the interview that Mariah did with Carlos that I'm going to be talking about in another video, where she said that the production company actually was trying to put, I believe it was Dr. Simone against her, and Dr. Simone came and told her what was being done. So there was a lot going with production, and according to Twitter, they're trying to make it seem like it was the other ladies who pushed out Mariah. So yeah, guys, they went into talking about the comments that Toya supposedly made about was it about Dr. Heavenly and her husband, I think. And Carlos was like, let me know exactly who said the comments. And Cecil was like, I think it came from my wife. But then to his point, he's like, my wife was just responding to something somebody else had said. So they went and they talked about that a little bit. They talked about the sanctity of marriage and how hard it is to actually, keep the relationship going, because you have so many outside influences trying to come in between the husband and wife. Is like, sometimes the job really gets to you, but the wives have to understand that, that's how it is being married to a doctor. And because remember, Dr. Eugene is married to Toya, and Cecil is married to Dr. Simone. So it's going both ways. But it was just good to see the men sit down and have an interview of their own, because we never really see that. And we know that Carlos is making the rounds as far as interviewing different reality TV stars. So we never know who he's going to come with. But it was just good to see them sit down and hear what they have to say regarding everything that is going on the show. Dr. Eugene is filming a lot more this season, and we could see how loving he and Toya is together based on past seasons that we've watched. We've seen Cecil and Dr. Simone looking a lot more comfortable with each other after they've gone through the rough patch. There is still some tension there from watching the season with Dr. Jackie and Curtis. There's something going on right there. And as far as we know, Dr. Heavenly is making it seem like her and Dr. Damon, aka Daddy, is perfect. There's nothing going on there. But yeah, we just finished wrapping season 10, I think they did. So the reunion was, the first part of the reunion, guys, was really interesting. I don't know if you got a chance to watch it, but that scene between Dr. Simone and Quad, where Quad was asking Dr. Simone, don't speak about what happened at her house in the swimming pool. I really thought production would have cut that out, but they kept it in. I don't think that was a good thing for them to do, because that's really touching. The fact that Quad was asking her, please don't speak about it, just by saying her name over and over and over again, and she still went ahead and spoke on it. That was touching. Some people are saying that Quad has secured a spot for season 11. Like, she's not going away, even though her and her husband aren't married anymore and he has a new wife. Like, she's still going to be hanging around. Some people are saying, why is she still here? She's not married to him anymore, so why is she still filming? But that's a whole nother video. I just wanted to, talk about the video that Carlos did with the gentleman. I'm going to link it down below for you to go and watch the full thing. I think it's about an hour and a half long, but it's really interesting to me. Of course, I left out some parts. I didn't talk about everything, but I think you should go ahead and take a look at it just to hear the perspective of the husbands on the show. So I thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure that you thumbs up this video, subscribe to the channel if you're interested in reality TV review, entertainment news, celebrity gossip, celebrity news. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel, and until next time, be sure to take care of yourselves and your families. Bye bye.